Tonight, allegations the government is forcing American citizens and others in its custody to suffer through unsafe conditions. There are claims that rather than taking people they arrest who are addicted to drugs or alcohol to the hospital or nearby medical facilities, they were put in holding cells and ignored.
Team 10 investigator Adam Rakusin has been looking into these claims for months. He is joining us now with an interview that took months to get. Adam?
Yeah, and we heard the allegations of American citizens going through this and being mistreated. That was back in April. Then in June, we discovered the criminal case for Jesus Centeno Paredes. That's who you see right here. He's in federal custody. We tried to talk to him for months, and that took a legal filing and sign-offs from all the government agencies you see right there, including the judge in the case. When I finally got to talk to Centeno, he told me he thought the United States treated dogs better.
Is she the nurse? Is she the nurse? No, I'm waiting for the nurse. Yeah, I'll be here in a little bit.
What you're looking at is surveillance video from a holding cell inside the San Ysidro port of entry. The guy asking for a nurse is Jesus Centeno Paredes. At this point, he's been in this cell for almost 3 days.
It was cold. It was small. They give you a blanket, not even a blanket, it's a foil, a piece of thin foil.
Almost 3 days of heroin withdrawals with what Centeno describes as little to no medical intervention.
Did you ever feel like your health was in danger, that you might actually die in this cell?
Yeah.
Centeno was arrested in March. The U.S. government charged him with attempting to enter the United States illegally after previously being deported. But it's what happened after Centeno was arrested that he says put his health in serious risk.
I'm an opioid drug user. I'm going to be having withdrawals.
Centeno says he told Customs and Border Protection officers he's a heroin addict.
After being arrested, he was taken to the Metropolitan Correction Center in downtown San Diego, but rejected because of his drug use and an abscess on his leg. MCC recommended he be evaluated for detox treatment at Alvarado Parkway Institute, a local inpatient clinic.
But a Customs and Border Protection email obtained by Team 10 shows Alvarado didn't have any space. So after being treated for the abscess on his leg, Centeno was taken back to the port and put in a cell. That's where this video picks up.
They did the minimum. They only did not even what they had to.
In the more than 14 hours of video obtained by Team 10, you can see Centeno curled up under a makeshift blanket, resting on either a concrete bench or a thin mat on the ground. He'd stand up, eat, and use the bathroom. The lights were always on.
I knew they weren't gonna help me. They're not caring.
The camera caught his every move, including throwing wet toilet paper at the ceiling, trying to cut off the air conditioning. While Centeno looks calm, he says he's going through a major drug detox. Staying still was his coping mechanism. Customs and Border Protection wouldn't comment on Centeno's allegations. But in court filings, the government said a physician's assistant and on-call physicians were available if necessary. They claim port of entry records show that CBP conducted wellness checks on Centeno's cell virtually every 20 minutes for the entirety of his time there.
Do you ever remember anyone physically coming into the room, taking your blood pressure, looking at your eyes, making sure you were okay?
Never. Never.
In your opinion, is it safe to not check blood pressure of someone who's going through withdrawal?
No, that's dangerous. It would be medical malpractice.
Dr. Clark Smith is a pain specialist at the Institutes of Health in San Diego and is not connected to this case. Smith says people going through heroin withdrawal have elevated blood pressure, nausea, and muscle aches.
I've seen people who looked okay. They didn't have noticeable shaking, and their blood pressure was so high that they were going to die either from a heart attack or stroke.
He should have been given, just medically basic care for this type of treatment, and he wasn't.
Ryan Stitt is Centeno's criminal attorney. He called Centeno's treatment shocking, saying the government knew that he required medical care to safely detox from heroin.
People in Mr. Centeno's situation are not convicted of any crime. They're held for days without access to a telephone or communication with the outside world, and they're not given proper medical care.
Here's the thing. Centeno's not the only one making these allegations. We've discovered a handful of other cases where people say they went through withdrawal in a Department of Homeland Security holding cell with no medical help. Lists uncovered by 10 News show other detainees at the San Ysidro port going through heroin withdrawal. But just how widespread, the government won't tell us, and rejected our attempts to find out.
Do you have track marks on your arm?
Centeno's a drug addict. He didn't hide that fact and showed us his track marks. He's been arrested and deported in the past. That might be what happens again. The U.S. Attorney's Office dropped the charge against Centeno about an hour after we finished our interview with him.
Did they treat you humanely?
I don't know. I think they treat dogs better.
And Centeno is back at the port of entry. He plans to file for citizenship, and he is contesting his deportation. Alvarado Parkway, where Centeno eventually got care, says they're often full and are forced to turn people away. Now, the video of the woman in the holding cell, we just got that video after months of fighting for it. I'm going to have much more on her story in the coming weeks. Adam Rakusin, Team 10.